G'day, it's Warnie here, coach of the Warn Dogs, and for the first time for season 2024, we're going to have a look at my team, the Warn Dogs. Let's hope we're doing better than last year, because last year, we're going to erase that from our memories. Now, full disclosure here, we've been doing a heap of work, a truckload of work, probably more than we ever have. We've got our club previews out there, so you can check that out at afl.com.au/fantasy, the podcast with those as well. We've actually already submitted our work for the AFL record, which will be out in early February. We've got some cool stuff going on with that, so get excited about that one. It's a cool addition. We're very pumped about the photo shoot that will be happening next week. But all in all, we have got so much going on. Make sure you're clicking on dreamteamtalk.com and checking out the deck of DT. There's some epic articles there. We've got a heap of legends from the community contributing, so it's very, very cool, and it is a great preseason. We're in for a massive year this year. I think 2024 is going to be unique. It's going to be different to what we've seen before. We've got the opening round, which therefore we're not playing, and therefore we've got some early buys to deal with, which I think's going to mix things up, and we don't know the strategy that's going to work yet. We've all got some ideas, I guess, and I'll talk about some of those as I go through my team, but it's going to be very, very interesting in itself. We'll be chatting about that all the way through the preseason, which will include via afl.com.au, dreamteamtalk.com, and of course, our Patreon, which will be launching again very soon for the new season. Bigger and better. We've got some ideas about changing some things up a little bit, but also keeping a lot of what the core stuff was the same, because it was an epic first year of that. We really enjoyed ourselves, especially our Sunday night live streams and our Pintcast podcast. They're the key things, as well as all the bonus content that came with it. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the Warn Dogs version, I guess, 1.0, because I haven't actually really put a team together until literally last night. I have had ideas of flicked around with some players, and it's normally sat there with a lot of blank space in it, but I filled it up last night. So let's get into it and let's have a look. All right, here we go. So this is where I'm at the moment. Backline, let's go there to begin with, because that's where we like to start. Jack Sinclair is my premium, I guess, there, as well as Tom Stewart. So I've got two guys there, fading the Nick Dacos call because of the opening round. They'll have that bye early on, and also, that Finn McGuinness tag might be there in round 4. I know that sounds like a bit of deja vu, which made it a terrible decision last year. But anyway, that's where I'm at with Sinclair, Tom Stewart, and Hayden Young. I think we're all on board the hype there that he will get that midfield time, so he will be sitting there for me. Now, Heath Chapman's a bit of a placeholder as such, but he's I don't know, looking all right. We'll watch more this preseason. A good practice match, or even the match simulation game, we'll just have him in if he's getting some clock. Essentially, that's what it's about. Marty Hore is a rookie choice, I guess, at 307k. Averaged a bit over 100 in the VFL last year, like it was 10 marks per game. We're not going to see that at AFL level, but we know that he can score all right, and he's down basically rookie price there. And Daniel Curtin, he'll play. That's essentially why. Bench is a bench. It's just cheap players. Toby Pink there should probably get a game for North Melbourne. And I've got Josh Gibcus there at the moment because I wrote about Richmond, and I thought, might as well whack him in there as a rookie price player. Let's see how his fitness is tracking. He's been off internationally to go and get some surgery done, or work done on his hamstrings. So we'll see what that looks like. Anyway. They are what they are for now. Let's look at the midfield. Now, this is quite interesting here. I've gone Tom Green as my M1, and I do like him a lot. I think he's in for a big year. He's just a gun player, as I think a lot of us already know. He's a superstar, so he could be one of those ones that take it to the next level. So he's coming in there at just a tick under $1 million, as is Andy Brayshaw. I think that he's just the consistent sort of dude. 110s will be there. They've got the really not, well, they don't have the opening round bye, but they also have the nice bye, as we're calling it, for the mid-season bye, so that might help there. Rory Laird, yep, I'm just going to go there. I think he's got some upside in what he has, as does Zach Butters, just for that natural improvement. But it's Jack Steele, who I think, he's priced at under 100, so it's the 97.9. I think that improves, that increases. That's exactly where it is, I think, for me. So, fingers crossed his body's going to be right this year, and that's what probably the biggest issue was for him last season. Now, John Newcomb, maybe a bit of recency bias because of Vams's awesome article on the deck of DT that actually came out today. I like it there. And what that's meant is that I've sort of gone 6 premiums in the midfield. This is a strategy that I'm throwing up at the minute because normally I'd probably have 3 rookie price players or even a mid-price or that sort of thing there. These guys here, I just feel like they could be, in a best 18 scenario, could be how you can get those bulk points all the way through there. I'll talk about my buy players in a minute. Colby and Riley, I think those two there, our Tassie boys, they will be sitting there for us. For a lot of teams, if they're not on your field, they probably should be. That's about where we're at, especially in mid-January. On the bench, Jeremy Sharp and Jai Clark, spending up a little bit more on the bench than what a lot of people probably do, and that's a little bit across the lines in a couple there. But, yeah, I guess that's where I'm at for that. The ruck I've landed on at the moment is going old mate Brodie Grundy. I think the value there is just ridiculous. Price at 75. I'm thinking a minimum of 95. So he's there for me. And I've gone with the X-Man, Tristan Cherry. Just number 1 ruck. He just has to be better. He's basically going to be priced in the mid-60s and should take that to mid-80s if you're the number 1 ruck. So that's where I'm at for that. So, yeah. I do like Max Gawn a lot, though. In a normal season, I'd 100% be going with the Grundy and Gawn combo. But, interesting. Finbar, like his name. But anyway, Kingy on Twitter the other day said that he's going all right on the track. So we're there. Now, let's look down the forward line. Josh Rachele is my F1. This is probably because I don't have Jack Macrae there as F1, who I don't mind, and I may end up with that, especially the guns and rookies type strategy. But it's what's happened with that going the basically 6 deep premiums in the midfielders happened to that. But I think a lot of coaches will be going fairly cheap here. So Rachele, Sardis I don't love, but there is upside. It's probably not enough, to be honest. But if you can see those prices there, if my F2 is in the 400s, I don't love that. But is that what we need to look at the minute? This is a January, one iteration of my team. Sardis, James Jordan, really hoping that he can improve on that. Basically averaged 70 in his first 2 seasons. He's there priced at 50. He should get to that because he's not going to be the sub, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Zach Fisher, yeah, let's hope. Oh, hang on. I didn't even get these in order. Let's do that again. Where are we? That makes it better. So I do have Fisher as at 600k as my F2. That halfback role's looking real. Wow, this is rusty. Anyway, Jordan, where am I? Finlay Macrae. Haven't really heard a lot about him since we all probably thought, oh, it must be his season. But anyway, we're sticking with him there at 300k, and Harley Reid as well. I think we all need to start him because he's just going to be playing. That's what it's all about. Bench there, Sean Manor and the mature age recruit there for Geelong, and also Braden George. So just one that's an interesting one there with the forward status that might get a gig because hopefully, injuries, all of that sort of stuff, and he might be the man that could get a shot there for North Melbourne. They've got a lot of players, though. We have talked about that a lot, and what that's going to look like will be interesting. And Chris Burgess, I think that's just for the sake of Calvinator there. Love some of these extra photos that they took to have them in the system, which is good. The clubs did those ones. All right, so that's where it is. Now, if you haven't already got Fantasy Coach, we've got the early buy detector, and this will help out a fair bit to see how much you are struggling with buy players and how many you're having. Because remember, we've got best 18 for those 4 early buys. Well, all the buys are best 18, but those 4 early buys rounds 2, 3, 5, and 6. And so as you can see here in the back line, I've got Gibcus and Marty Hoare. So I'd still be hopefully fielding 6 players back there. Tom Green's my only midfielder, and he's got that round 3 buy. I did see some strategy with some coaches talking about maybe flicking him over to Sam Walsh after a nice early start there for Green, but that could be an interesting way to move. I don't like trying to plan my planning trades is good, but planning something out like that, it could be getting pretty, but it could be a really match-winning type thing. Brodie Grundy has the round 5 bye, as does Jordan and McRae, so won't have a full ruck contingent or ruck lineup there. That's the issue with a Max Gawn as well. He's got the round 6 bye, but you will be down a ruck in both those games, and they're basically your premium scorers that you've got there. So you'd like to be having as many as you still can for your best 18, but yeah, it's probably fairly light on with any of these early bye players. That's a big part of, I guess, the strategy and my thinking of this. There's a lot of players that I love that have the early buys, and we'll talk about those a fair bit now. This is, as I mentioned, January. We are pretty early on in this, and I just wanted to have something down on paper, essentially. I'm going to try on Fridays again throughout the season to look at what I'm going to do with my team. So, that hopefully people liked that, enjoyed it, bit of a conversation, bit of a chat through that. But anyway, there it is. How much coin was left there? $92,000. That projected score is not pretty. 1661. Surely they're not using a best 18. Anyway, that's where my Warn Dogs are at. We've got a massive season ahead of us. We are pretty stoked about everything that we're doing. I think this is now our 18th season of doing stuff for DT Talk, which is absolutely huge, and our 11th with the AFL. So we hopefully can have some form of a breakout. I don't know how many seasons has Pendle's been in the comp for. We need to have a look at some of those. But that's my team, how it's looking right at this very minute here on the 12th of January. I'll do something probably next month about my team, and as we go into the season, we want to use the YouTube channel a bit. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, all of that sort of stuff, and awesome stuff for all the other content creators out there doing some things. I'm pumped for this year. Hopefully you are too. Give us a thumbs up or all those things. I need to get all that lingo down right. And don't forget to be subscribing to our podcast. We've got plenty of cool stuff coming. We're halfway through those club previews as we speak. We've got the other half to come, and then we'll launch into our normal content over the preseason, which is going to be a pretty quick, big pre-season doing things, because we'll be getting some practice matches in a month's time or so. We've got the community series then into our round 0 or our opening round before we get our first lockout happening. March. It's nuts. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and good luck for this pre-season. I'll be seeing you plenty of times. Catch ya. Stop.